Tomorrow is National Bourbon Day, and we're here with one of the best in the business, artists and proof distillers. I've got Joel and Jarek with me today to take me through their lineup of amazing spirits. So thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
Absolutely. So tell me what you have here.
Okay, well, so first of all, bourbon is truly an American spirit. It's recognized only in the U.S. To be a bourbon, it must be made in the U.S.
Okay.
Made from at least 51% corn in brand new first use barrels, and it cannot be modified.
It's a lot of rules.
Yeah, it is, and the modified is what keeps this at the highest classification. If it's modified, it gets kicked out of the bourbon category. Everything else then is a whiskey.
Very
So these are
interesting. Okay. And what kind of bourbons do you have?
So we have 4 bourbons, all from North Dakota corn,
Very nice.
North Dakota barley, and that's the only ingredients in it.
Dang.
Distilled right downtown Fargo, and all of the color comes from the barrel.
Wow.
All of the color and most of the flavor comes from the barrel. So we've got 4 variations of our bourbons here. Jarek will talk a little about the barrels, but we have our first 6-year offering of our Crooked Furrow. Very limited release. Come downtown and check out a sampling in a bottle. We have our standard 4-year bourbon, spectacular, award-winning in itself. A blended bourbon for those that like mixing bourbons. This is a lighter style of bourbon. And then on the national scene, we are making bourbon for Motorhead. Yes, the heavy metal band from England approached us.
Nice.
They wanted a craft spirit, craft distillery made bourbon, and so actually it's today 5 pallets of that are going to the Netherlands.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
After
fantastic.
a
My
little bit of
grandpa's in the
delay.
Netherlands as we speak,
cool.
so maybe he'll stop
Yeah.
by and grab some. That's very cool, and I love that it is legitimately local. Your name is actually on the back of the
yes.
bottle, so we know this is a very locally made, locally sourced thing, and I understand that you even have very specific specifications for the corn that you use.
We have that grown by Rutland, North Dakota, and they do it as a no-till farming. So Joe Brecker and his farm there does a fantastic no-till, and he's been doing it for years, and we've been using his corn from day one. He interplants peas in between the corn that's just infuses fertilizer.
Sure.
And he does a cover crop, so he uses much less fertilizer, and is a fantastic part of our story. Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. And now,
Keeping it
Jarek,
local.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have perspective as well having to do with the barrels. How important is the barrel to the good quality of your alcohol?
Well, it's skipping over certain barrels that aren't quite ready and knowing and smelling and tasting, and I call it my flock. You know, we have about 200 barrels and keeping track of them all and knowing in the lifespan of the barrel which ones are going to be ready, which ones are going to be good in the future. Like Joel said, all the color comes from the barrel. It's basically pulling out the sugars out of the oak, and the charring helps color it, but nothing else was added other than letting it rest in the barrel.
So is a big portion of your job smelling and tasting bourbon?
Yes, and to answer your next
like a dream
question, it's little tastes at a time.
The end of a cocktail straw. If you take a big sip, then you get hit by the alcohol and you miss the flavors. Plus, you can't do that many barrels at a time.
Right, of
When someone
course.
takes a drink of bourbon and they kind of, give that grimacing look, and they're not looking past the alcohol. It's the best way to describe it is they get to be like a melted caramel. If you're drinking it properly, small sips at a time, you get to really pick out those caramels and vanillas
And more importantly,
nutty
we smell with our
flavors.
nose.
Right.
Do you see the caramels?
That's a very, I was going to say a caramely smooth.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is our 6th year. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now you had an article written about you. I would imagine because this is just incredible, but please tell me about that.
We've had a lot of articles written.
Well,
but,
a few
but so
then.
we've hit over 50 national awards. In fact, just Friday, we got results from a competition that started in January. It was a bartender competition in California, and we received, was it 6 or 7? I can't remember. 7 awards. And a gin got a double gold, which is
love the
spectacular.
gin, yeah.
Motorhead got a double gold. The bourbons, this was not entered yet. This would have gotten easy a double gold.
But I imagine it will be.
This, I believe, got silver. Maybe it was a gold. I can't. It's hard to keep track.
That's incredible.
We have one, and what's really important is that it's not just local. We're actually good, and we're
Yes.
recognized on the national level that they actually are good. They're the guys from North Dakota, and they really do good stuff.
So do you have a special for National Bourbon Day?
Yes,
Or is it just
please stop
come
down.
taste it
In our
'cause it's
6th
amazing?
year, we have released this for Bourbon Day and for Father's Day.
That is special.
Yes, very limited bottles. There's only one barrel that we harvested for it. So
Wow. Well, make sure you get down to Proof Artisan Distillers. Very easy to find, and get some taste testing going on. Hang out with Jarek a little bit,
Actually,
maybe.
that's not the right address. Proof Artisan Distillers is 414 4th Avenue North.
All right. Well, get over to 414 4th Avenue North and give it a taste. Now, make sure you stay with us because we have another important performance from singer Annabelle just before she heads out to Nashville. We were able to grab her, and we're going to have her here on next.